first country in the world to have the first regional cigars. It was the Ramon Alones Bellicosis. But when it first came out, it was a prototype. So they wanted to see how it went. So we were the guinea pigs, and it worked well. When they released the cigar, they only had one band on it, just the Ramon Alones band on it. But then they thought, how can we make this more regional so we know that it's made for different continents? So they came out with the second ring, and each ring has, like, made for Undico, which is Great Britain in Spanish, which they're going to change as of this year. They're going to call it Britannica. So rather than have it what they have it now, they're going to have it called Britannica. So you have Asia, you have Spain, you have Andorra, you have Russia has just got one out as well this year. So the process they went into is that each distributor were allowed to present themselves which vitola they wanted. They cannot have the current brands, like the main brands, Cohiba, Partagas, Monte Cristo, or the main leading brands. So what they did is that the distributors had to go there and said, we want this. But the minimum order was 30,000 sticks per year. That's only 1,200 boxes. Yeah, depending on the format they had.
When he says minimum order, the distributor had to guarantee that they would purchase 30,000 sticks for their market.
Yeah. And if they did that, they'll make the cigars for the country, but it cannot be a vitola that's in the current market already. It has to be a new size. This is why the size has increased in the Cuban portfolio now. One thing that we did in UK, and again, my hat off to Hunters and Francos, we were the only country in the world to bring regional cigars, which is remake of an old brand. So we got history to the new. So when a new vitola, say, like the Paul Larranaga, Londres Ligales, gift from London, this was originally in their catalogue dated 1912. So they used to make this in 1912. So what they did, they re-brought it out again.
Say it, go ahead. Don't hold back. Go for it.
When I said to you 30,000 sticks, so each country used to have 1 or 2 regional cigars a year. Cuba, as of this year, have changed the format. The format's changed, and it's increased to 50,000 sticks a year. So, minimum. Yeah, minimum is 50,000 sticks. In whatever format, box packaging they want, they can do box of 10s, 5s, 50s, cabs, but it has to be a minimum of 50. So, for me, I think that's brilliant, because the regional cigars, when they first came out, was a great idea. I think it's brilliant. It's got to a stage where it's too much. It's just continuity, you may have the same brand again. Cuba has a policy, they cannot repeat the brand for the first 2 to 3 years. They can re-bring it for another regional after that.
Do you think it's too much for the retailer selling it, too much for the industry to produce it, or is the consumer growing
bored?
Really? Okay. So the consumer's not as interested in the regional edition?
No. Yeah, consumers were interested, as a retailer, interested, when the regional first came out, it became a collector's item. And it is a collector's item. But when you see the same brand appear at another regional, in another country, it defeats the point. So by them increasing the quota to 50,000, which is brilliant, so that makes, and that means only 1 regional a year, not 2, only 1 regional a year.
So fewer regional editions?
Fewer regional editions, but I think they're going to be much more unique as well.
Now that's 1 per region. So how many, they're doing, 11, 12 a year, is that right at this point?
Yeah.
Somewhere in that 11, I think they've been as high as 15 in certain years, but it stays in that 10 to 12 area mostly. Meaning that there are 10 different countries or regions around the world that each year will get a regional cigar, correct?
Definitely. And I bought this Larranaga not realizing, if you look in the Cigar Aficionado website, which I only saw when I came here to Vegas, when David came in the magazine, they've rated this cigar. And as a fluke, I had no idea that they had rated it, but I love this cigar. It's absolutely superb. Oh, they rated it 94, I think.
So we got it right, you're saying.
I'll pay you later on.
Every now and then.
So AJ, the idea behind the creation of that, you mentioned it was an old cigar, is it trying to recreate the taste of the old cigar?
Yes, yeah. Cuba has an inventory record of all the blends they create, which is phenomenal. These books, it's like going into a history library room and sitting there. If you're interested in tobacco, it's amazing. So they came and revert to old blends where they recreate, and UK are the only ones to recreate this. Obviously, when each box is made, they have a box coding as well. So each box is numbered. And when you said blend, a great cigar to talk to about the blend is the Flor de Cano. I don't know if anybody you've heard of, but the Flor de Cano short Robustos? Anybody? Which one? The UK regional.
UK regional edition, Flor de Cano short Robusto. 2010 regional just came out this summer, right, AJ? This was a cigar that's based on the Flor de Cano short Churchill.
Correct. This was created in the 1980s, mid-1980s, and it was made in a small quantity. That was released to unique cigar merchants in those days, Dunhills, J.J. Fox, Salters. Very small quantity came to England, but majority went to the Far East. Then the production stopped. Guys smoked it, they loved it. The guys who kept it back, they were the fortunate ones. Because when it hit the Christie's auction, these cigars fetched in the region of £4,000 to £6,000 a box. Pounds, I'm talking about, not dollars.
It became one of the most collectible cigars.
One of the most collectible cigars in the Cuban market, yeah. So what Hunters and Franco did, they recreated this box, but they could not call it short Churchill. They called it the short Robustos. Same blend. Now they managed to get hold of one of the original rollers who helped to create the original blend, which was the short Churchill, and it was a female. Now she remembered the blend like it was yesterday. So they got her to help them to recreate the blend, and this is what they created. And I tell you what a cigar this is. When it first came out, being the only La Casa Del Habano in England, we get the first quota any cigar shops get in England. When it came out, we had pre-orders of roughly 170 boxes, which came in and walked out. And we've just received our last quota when I get back. So we are going to have a few more in stock. Well, I'm going to put quite a few away because this cigar, the way it's smoking, when it first came out, it was good, but it had a lot of movements, a lot of travel there and back, England, us, had to rest, relax. But now it's phenomenal.
And we rated that when it first came out. I think we gave that 90 points.
90 points when it first came out. I think, in the next 6 months, when I give them another one.
I think we paid for that when we rated AJ.
Oh.
I think so too. But Greg can confirm that, right, Greg?
But what they did is that they recreate the original bands as well. This is how back extreme Hunters of Francos goes. They want to make sure that the band matches the original label. To the most extreme, what Hunters did is that they even went to the point where there was a delay in the green ink they wanted to use to create the original box. But they managed to get it. And if you look at this box, to the original box, it's identical, even to the green stamp on the actual cedar inside.
Cool. Wow, that's a great touch.
Yeah.
They're beautiful looking cigars. I love the way the regional edition band stands out against the color of the wrap. It's really nice.
Now, AJ, the distributor in each country that agrees to buy this, in not every case I'm sure, but in most cases, they have direct input into the blend, the kinds of things they want, right? I know that Max Kubman in Mexico is, very involved in the cigars that are created for Mexico. That sounds like it's true for the UK also.
Definitely. When a product is picked, they will make a blend, 6 different types of blend, and then the distributor will go to the tasting. They will sit with the panel of tasters that they have in Havana. Fantastic job. All they do is taste cigars every single day. But that's kept on a secret basis, so they don't announce who these guys are, but they taste cigars every single day. So they taste with them, and this is when the format is picked. If it needs to be tweeted, they can, before it hits production. But once it hits production, it's not, we'll make X quantity this month, X quantity the next month. It's continuity. It's start to finish.
It's one run, that's it, done.
One run. Yeah, because the bales have to be bought in. So the right bales, same year, have to be brought in, so the blend is done correctly.
Which is very different from the way most Cuban cigars are made, of course. They're made throughout the year, different batches of tobacco coming in. Do you find because of that, it's done in one small batch, the consistency of the cigar, the regional additions is more so than the other brands? I mean, if you like one, the others will taste the same? Is that kind of the way it is?
No. I would like to say yes, but no.
Should be that.
Yeah, it should be, but it's not. The continuity of all the boxes, yeah, they'll be the same. But obviously, we all know that each box, depending on how it's stored, makes a difference on the aging potential of it. We'll get to that when we talk about the vintage cigars.
Now, AJ, the other level of Habana, I guess, branding is the limited edition series that they now do every year. Can you describe to us the difference between a regional and a limited edition? And I mean, as I understand it, that is a Habanos process.
Voy para Marcané, llego a Cueto, voy para Mayarí.